Yellow Productions presents a live stream for June 19th, 2017, the top 17 hotels that I've ever stayed in. My next live streams, if you missed this one, is going to be on July 3rd, 2017, Monday, 8 p.m. And then July 10th after that, I will be skipping next Monday, so no live stream on the 26th of June. Clement, hello from Singapore. Jake McShane, good evening. And by the way, if you're new to these live streams and you want to make sure that you get notifications of them, when you subscribe to Yellow Productions, there's a little bell. If you hit that bell and then click send me notifications and save, then you'll get notified every time I go live. And now that's out of the way, let's talk about my 17 favorite hotels. So over my travels and over the years of traveling, I have stayed in hundreds of hotels. Last week I did a live stream on my worst hotel experiences. If you missed that, you can find the link in the description. In this one, I'll be sharing some of my best hotels, and this is not just a random best of list that, somebody pulls from random websites or TripAdvisor. These are my 17 favorite hotels that I have personally stayed in, and many of them I have a video review of. So if you're curious and you find them interesting, in the description of this video, you'll find all of the hotels numbered 1 to 17, and you'll find the YouTube link to the review that I've done along with it. And if you have any questions, since this is a live stream, go ahead and ask as we go along. All right, so we will start with my favorite hotel, number 1. And these are roughly in order of my first favorite to my 17th favorite. So my best hotel experience that I've ever stayed in is at the Andaz Hotel in Maui. And Andaz is a boutique portion of the Hyatt hotels. The Andaz in Maui, I stayed there earlier this year, is located in what's called Wailea, which is in South Maui. The room rates, while not cheap, hovering around $400 or $500 a night, was truly the most amazing beach hotel I've ever been to. And Brandon Torres asks, which of these hotels had the best breakfast? I will definitely talk to the breakfast in probably most of the reviews because I really do like breakfast. The Andaz Maui had a fantastic breakfast buffet. It's not cheap. If you're not a Hyatt Diamond or Globalist, then it's like $40 a person, but if you are a Hyatt Diamond or Globalist, then it's free. But it was truly a delicious breakfast buffet. They had dragon fruit, they had lots of delicious omelets, linguiça, everything was fresh. The breakfast buffet at the Andaz was definitely one of the highlights. The other neat thing about the Andaz Hawaii, everybody wears kind of the Hawaiian outfits, so sort of like the what do I call those things? The traditional Hawaiian, the guys wear the Hawaiian shirts, and the girls wear the Hawaiian muumuu dresses. It's also really great because if you're staying you're going down to the beach at the Andaz, they'll provide beach chairs, they provide sunscreen, they provide water, they have lots of different swimming pools. The hotel is located right on the beach. And so Clement asks, where is Topher? Topher is resting for the next live stream that's going to be July 3rd. That one is going to feature lots of Topher in it. Topher's going to have lots of speaking parts, so he is resting up. And by the way, if I look warm, like I look like I'm in Singapore sweating or something, it is slightly warm in Southern California today. We're having a bit of a heat wave, and it's warm, especially with the lights that I've got on here to do this video. Clement asks, how about the cheapest and the best hotel, and is the hotel cheap or expensive? So I'll answer those things as I go along, and maybe I'll answer the best, cheapest hotel later if I don't catch me before the end. So the Andaz Maui, definitely not cheap. If you have Hyatt points, though, you can check it out. So if you're looking to stay at a Hawaiian beach hotel, Andaz Maui, you should check it out. And for more, you can find the link to the review. All of the links to the reviews are all in the description. My second favorite hotel, I should use these cards since I bought them. My second favorite hotel is the Tokyo Station Hotel. This was one that I stayed at last year. The Tokyo Station Hotel is located in central Tokyo inside, basically, Tokyo Station. Normally, when you enter Tokyo Station, which is Japan's second busiest train station, one side has kind of this modern side, and the other side has this brick old building. It's called the Marinochi side. It's called the Marinochi building. It looks like something out of central London, and it's really neat to stay in this hotel. The inside of the hotel is central London themed. The people who work there wear these traditional, you know, bellboy, bellgirl type outfits. The service was truly amazing. And it's also really great if you're coming in from Narita Airport on the Narita Express. The Narita Express stops right at Tokyo Station, and the hotel's right there. It's also a great base for taking the bullet train almost anywhere in Tokyo because you're just right there at the train station. You don't even have to get there. And the Tokyo Station Hotel is another one that is not cheap. It was about $500 for the one night that we stayed there, but it was truly a phenomenal night. And just the decorations and kind of the old world charm of the hotel in central Tokyo that looks like most of the buildings look like a Borg cube or Borg hives. It was neat to stay there. So I definitely stay there again. Maybe not for a long stay, but certainly for one night. Great also on your first night into Tokyo, which I can't remember the name of the person who commented that, but somebody commented on that Tokyo Station Hotel review and said they stay there every time they go to Tokyo on their first night because it's just so convenient coming in from the airport and staying there. David M., hello. Welcome to the live stream. Clement also comment, it's good for train spotters. And absolutely, and if you're a train spotter, then you'll probably want a room on the train station side of the building as opposed to the exterior side. They've got rooms on both sides. So that was number 2. For more on that one, again, link in the description below. My favorite hotel, number 3, is the Park Hyatt Washington, D.C. Park Hyatt Washington, D.C., another hotel that's part of the Hyatt chain. I stayed there about a year and a half ago as a Hyatt Diamond member, and I know I said that the Andaz had one of the best breakfasts I've had. The Park Hyatt Washington, D.C. also had a fantastic breakfast. The Park Hyatt Washington, D.C., it's located around Georgetown. And Georgetown, for those of you who aren't familiar with Washington, D.C., Georgetown is kind of the upscale part of Washington, D.C., so it's in the kind of the upscale neighborhood. They have this restaurant called the Blue Duck Tavern. And as a Hyatt Diamond member, they basically give you run of the menu as much as you want to order. So we had fresh squeezed orange juice that they literally squeeze from oranges. They had bone marrow. They had crab cakes, French toast. Really amazing. And as a Hyatt Diamond, they also upgraded us to one of their like 1,200 square foot suites. I mean, it was truly an amazing suite. And also the great thing about the hotel, pretty much anything you want, you can call the front desk and they'll bring you. They're like, you want water, you want tea, you want coffee, just call us and we'll bring it up. So I go down, I'm like, hey, I'd like some bottled water. And like, sure, how many bottles would you like? I'm like, I don't know, 6, 8? Sure enough, 6 or 8 bottles of water up at the room. I'm like, hey, I'd like some tea. They're like, do you want us to bring up a teapot? We'll bring you some more bottles of water. What tea do you like? And they brought up this whole tea set and put it in the room. So it was really great service. The Park Hyatt Washington, D.C. also has a courtesy car. It's like a Mercedes-Benz courtesy car that'll take you pretty much anywhere you want to go within 5 miles of the hotel. So we were going to the Capitol building. Why take a taxi when you can just show up in front of the hotel and say, hey, take me to the Capitol building, which they do. And so that was really neat. So couple questions. Vicky Yoshikawa says, Vicky staying at the Andaz in September due to my review. That's excellent. I hope that's the Andaz in Maui. What is my number 1 piece of advice? Anti-gecko spray? Question mark. And so Vicky's obviously watched that review and knew that I had a gecko in our bed. Vicky, I think my number 1 advice would be, I'm not sure which room class you booked, but I would definitely recommend springing the little extra for one of the oceanfront or ocean view rooms. I think there is a big difference between the mountain front and the ocean view, and the ocean view is really neat. Also, because they have sunscreen like everywhere on the property, definitely you can just, you don't even have to bring sunscreen. You can just put it on around. They also give you these bottles when you check in for water, and you can use the ice machines and the water things. I found those bottles smelled like plastic, and I like really strong plastic, so I brought my own water bottles. So that might be a suggestion I have to you. Bring your own cups or something to put their water in, and maybe not use their super plasticky ones that broke and were just a little bit cheap. Jake McShane asks, am I listing these hotels in any particular order? And in fact, I am. Hotel number 1 is my best favorite hotel, and number 17 will be my 17th favorite hotel. So you can kind of figure out then 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, they are in order from my favorite to my 17th favorite. All right, David M. asks, is the Park Hyatt Washington, D.C. better than the Ritz? I don't know because I have not stayed at the Ritz-Carlton in Washington, D.C. Clement asks, does it have a great view? The Park Hyatt Washington, D.C. does not have much of a view. That's actually a general thing about Washington, D.C. hotels. There's a enforced height limit in Washington, D.C. The tallest building you can build in Washington, D.C. is 14 stories, and so pretty much every building is 14 stories, which means no building has a great view. Richard Narvi says, took my advice and bought a bunch of great packing cubes. Richard, that's really excellent. I hope you're enjoying your packing cubes. I know I enjoy mine. They make it super easy to unpack and things like that. And Vicky says, they are staying in an oceanfront room, so excellent. Sounds good. I think you will definitely enjoy it. Let me know afterwards what you thought, but I think you will be a highlight of your stay. I've stayed there twice in the span of a year, and I'd definitely go back again. SoCal Seth, welcome to the live stream. Thanks for joining. All right, so now we will go on to hotel number 4. So the number 4, my 4th favorite hotel, is the Conrad Hotel in Singapore. Conrad is one of the high-end hotels in the Hilton chain. Most of the Conrads are in Asia. There's not too many of them in the U.S. There's a few. There's one in New York. There's one in Chicago. But the Conrad in Singapore is one of my favorite hotels. One of the neat things about the Conrad, I should have prepared for this better. Conrad hotels are famous that when you check into a Conrad hotel, you get a stuffed bear. And every different Conrad hotel has a different stuffed bear. So I love to collect the bears from the different Conrads. There will be a second Conrad coming up later in my list. But the Conrad Singapore, it's really centrally located in the central business district of Singapore. So it's a super easy taxi ride. It's super well connected to the MRT system. You can walk from there to the Gardens by the Bay and the Marina Bay Sands and to a lot of the great hawker centers in the region. So centrally located, and because I talk about breakfast, and you can tell I love food, the breakfast at the Conrad Singapore really good. In their breakfast restaurant, they even have like fresh orchids at your table because Singapore is known for orchids. And also just truly excellent service at that hotel. Typically, when I fly into Singapore, I get in late and I leave early and I don't stay very long. But that's a hotel that every time I just go back to, it's quiet, the bed's soft, the linens are great. And I just, it's one of those kind of like paradise in a place that's super, super hot, which is absolutely Singapore. SoCal says he wants to try the Marina Bay Sands sometime. SoCal says, when you do, let me know how you like it. That's one hotel I haven't stayed at. I would like to try the Marina Bay Sands as well. All right, and Brandon Torres comments and said he can't wait for the unreleased reviews. If you're reading ahead in the description, taking a look at some of these links, I've got 3 different hotel reviews that are coming soon, probably 10 more that I haven't edited too, so there's quite a few hotel reviews in the queue. And Yippee, hello, welcome, thanks for coming. Our next hotel review, number 5, is that forwards or backwards? I'm not really sure. These are flashcards, so hotel number 5 is the JW Marriott Hong Kong. So it's interesting that this is my first hotel in my top 17 that's a Marriott. And I say that because Marriott is usually the hotel brand that I stay at the most. I talked about the number of hotels I've stayed at. I've stayed at 700 Marriott nights. Marriott is kind of platinum member at Marriott. I am often, if there's a Marriott there, I will often stay there. And the JW Marriott Hong Kong, for those of you that are familiar with Hong Kong, there's 2 parts of it. There's Hong Kong Island, and then there's Kowloon or Kowloon. And Hong Kong Island is the big central business district, and the JW Marriott is kind of up on the hill on Hong Kong Island. It's a big high-rise hotel. I would say, is also one of the hotels that I've had the best breakfast buffet. And it's a great Western buffet and a great Asian buffet. They had dim sum and congee, omelets and pancakes. And, often in a lot of international hotels, they will have pancakes or waffles, but you'll eat them and you'll be like, this is just not very good. It's just not very, if I say authentic. There's a lot of places that just get pancakes and waffles really wrong. Like they feel like they need to serve them because there's Westerners that stay there to eat them, but, I like them that are good. And at the JW Marriott Hong Kong, they do them very well too. Another cool thing about the JW Marriott Hong Kong, at their doors, they don't just have one doorman, but they have two doormen. So there's one person on each side of the door. So as you walk in the hotel, there's two people that open both of the doors for you. There's always people polishing all of the brass in the hotel. The lobby is this like 5 or 6 story open atrium with restaurants on different tiers. Really cool look. And the JW Marriott Hong Kong, I would say of all the hotels I've stayed in, has the best concierge lounge or the best executive lounge. It's all the way on the top of the hotel floor, 40 something, I would say. And at this lounge, it has great views of the Hong Kong harbor. And for the evening appetizers, it's not like cheap egg rolls or noodles. It is like full on dinner spread. Like the lounge is such that when you walk in, they actually stop you and seat you because the lounge is so popular and their food is truly good. You could truly make a dinner out of that. So, couple questions and then I'll get back to it. David M. asks, hello, where were you last week? Last week, I was in Ventura Beach, California. And so I said there would be a video review coming up. I will post that one this Wednesday of the Ventura Beach Marriott, which is where I did the last 2 live streams. Let's see, I think I greeted Yippee from Japan already. Richard Narvi says, bet you went to MIT. Any good hotels you like in Boston? Every time I've stayed in Boston, where have I stayed? I stayed at the Hilton in the airport. That was super convenient because I could just stay there when I arrived late. That was pretty good. I'm sure there's another hotel I've stayed in Boston. Unfortunately, I didn't do reviews on those hotels, and so my memory is kind of foggy. If I didn't document in a video, it's hard for me to remember that it actually happened. SoCal Seth says, JW resorts tend to be some of the better ones. Have you been to the one in Palm Springs? I have not yet been to the one in Palm Springs. I've wanted to go there, but it seems like every time we go to Palm Springs, we find some other Marriott affiliate like the Renaissance or something like that that's a little bit cheaper. Clement says, I could be a regular in the Marriott. I think I could be, and I probably am at some of them. Clement asks, what would I expect when I step into a hotel? That's an excellent question. So, I guess I'll start by saying, if I'm going to a hotel that has valet service, I would expect like prompt valet service. I would expect to drive my car up and somebody to just be like right there to go ahead and take my car. And to go ahead and offer to take my luggage, though I almost never take them up on the opportunity to take my luggage because I hate waiting 5 or 10 minutes for my luggage to show up to my room. But my preference is really hotels that have self-parking, because valet parking, when they're not prompt, it's usually really slow, and I really hate waiting for my car. I like to be at a hotel that has a doorman, because I feel like a hotel that has a doorman or door person is somebody who actually cares about the place. They open the door, they welcome you. I also expect that when I walk up to the front desk, there is somebody there to look at me and greet me. Sometimes you go to hotels and you walk up and the people are just like this and they sort of look at you and then they look down again because they don't really want to help you. I actually like employees that want to help you and make you feel welcome. I don't particularly need employees that make small talk about like, hey, so what did you do yesterday and what are you planning to do tomorrow? Because I know that the hotel employees are just coached to ask those questions because it makes you feel better. I do like employees that when you're checking in at the front desk would say, hey, is this your first time here? Would you like a map? Can I give you directions on anywhere to go? That's pretty nice. So that's usually what I expect when I check into a hotel. Jean-Pierre says, bonsoir from Montreal. Bonsoir. Jean-Pierre, welcome. All right. My sixth favorite hotel. This is my first hotel that I'm listing that is an onsen hotel. And this hotel is the Funaya Onsen Hotel. For those of you who watch my Japan videos a lot, you will know that I like Japanese hot springs. So that's what an onsen is. And these hotels are typically traditional Japanese style, and Funaya is as well. It's located in the town called Dogo Onsen, which is a famous onsen town in Japan. And at Funaya, the rooms are the traditional tatami rooms. So you have tatami mats on the floor. You have a futon to sleep on. So when you first get to your room, there's basically a girl in a kimono who will come and she'll take you up to your room and she'll sit you down, and in your room she'll typically explain the hotel. She'll make you tea, serve you tea, and then get you your yukatas, which are essentially casual kimonos that you wear around the hotel. The hot spring there, it's this very large hot spring area, multiple stories, great hot spring baths. It has a kind of like natural stream that runs through the hotel. And also when I talked about like valets that take your car immediately, you show up in front of Funaya and there's like 3 people to take your car. You're not even out of it and they're already like getting your stuff out of it and taking it. And also one of the neat things about Funaya, and this is often in Japanese onsen hotels, they go a little overboard when you depart. And Funaya is the same way. When they get your car, then they load you into your car, and a bunch of the staff members like stand out in front of the hotel and like wave goodbye to you and bow. But it just makes you actually feel welcome as a guest and makes you feel really appreciated, like that your business is actually appreciated. Some hotels, the employees, again, they look like they don't want to be there, they don't want to be at work. And I get it, there's a lot of people who don't want to be at work, but the only reason that they have a job and the only reason those hotels are open are because they have guests there. And Funaya was one hotel you really felt that way. The room was neat. It was a really big room. It was one of the biggest rooms I've ever had in Japan. And so if you want to see a traditional Japanese hotel, check out the review of Funaya. I think in the room they also had a bathtub that was made of wood. I've never had a wooden bathtub in my room before, so that was very unique about Funaya. Okay. And Clement asks, where am I now? I am home right now. So you've probably seen this background on a lot of my other live streams. I'm charging a battery for my camera right over there, and a slightly different art that I put up here. So I hope you like the new art. Richard Narvi says, love your attention to detail. Thanks for all your vids, Chris. Richard, thank you for the loving comment. I love that you joined in, and I love that you enjoy the detail too. There's some people who tell me my reviews are too long, but I'm glad that you like them, because I think it's the details that probably make mine slightly different than the standard TripAdvisor 10-word review that you might read. Clement says, this will be my last live stream because when you were doing the live stream, I will be in school, so I cannot watch your live stream. Sorry. Oh, Clement, I'm sorry to hear that. Well, you can watch the archives, and certainly then when you have your next break, you can join in too. All right, number 7 is another onsen hotel. This onsen hotel is Aenokaze Onsen Hotel. Aenokaze is located in the Kanazawa region of Japan. And so Japan, if it's an island that looks like this, Tokyo's down here, Kanazawa's up on the other side of the mountain range. And Aenokaze is part of, it's a sister hotel to this hotel called Kagaya. And Kagaya, they're located a quarter mile apart. And Kagaya has won the Japanese Hotel Industry Awards for the last 20 years running for having the best service. And I will say, I have never received better service from a hotel than when we were at Aenokaze. I talked about taking your car immediately. They take your car immediately, but their attention to detail is such that like when it's checkout time, they station people right next to the elevators so that as you're coming down from your room and you come out of the elevator, immediately there's someone standing there with a luggage cart to take your luggage so you don't have to wheel it across the lobby. Aenokaze is also the thumbnail picture for this particular live stream was me at the Aenokaze dinner show, they had this really neat multiple story dinner theater where if you pay for it, you basically get a private room and you get your own private server that comes in and serves this, 10 or 15 course Japanese dinner the whole time you're watching this live show on this rotating stage. The other thing that was amazing about this hotel was we were going to go for a walk to Kagaya because it was a quarter-mile away, and you could use the hot springs at both hotels. I should also mention that both these hotels have an amazing view to this sea or bay that's right in front of the hotels. And it's not a long walk, but as we get to the front of the hotel, the first thing is the head kimono lady of the hotel, as I call her, because there were like 10 women all wearing kimonos, and the head one, she stops myself and OC girl and tells us that we're wearing our yukatas wrong. That we've tied them the wrong way, left over right, right over left. There's a certain way to wear them. One way you wear them if you're alive, a second way you wear them if you're dead. And apparently we were wearing them like dead people. And so she said, no, you have to wear it like this. Go to the bathroom, change. I'll help you retie your bow. And so she did. And then she's like, where are you going? And we're like, oh, we were going to walk to Kagaya. And she's like, we'll get a car for you. And she snaps her fingers, claps her hands. All of a sudden a van pulls around. There's a guy in a van to take us to Kagaya. But we don't just step into the van. They've got like a little step stool to put underneath it so that we can step into it. They drive us to Kagaya. We get out of Kagaya. We're looking at the hotel to be like, oh, where should we go? And another girl in a kimono walks up and says, can I help you with something? Where are you trying to go? They're like, oh, we want to go to the hot spring. And she's like, no problem. I will take you there. And so the service was just, it was truly over the top and the best service I've ever had in any hotel. And I understand why they say they have the best service in all of Japan. David M., thanks for saying my reviews are not too long. I appreciate that there's at least a couple of you that like them. So thank you. That keeps me going. SoCal Seth asks if I have a favorite hotel in San Diego. And that's an interesting question since I'm from San Diego. And so I don't stay in a ton of hotels in San Diego. But one of the ones that I do really like is the Park Hyatt in Carlsbad. And I think if you're like coming to San Diego and staying in San Diego, sort of have 2-3 options of like general areas, right? There's like downtown San Diego, which has tons of high-rise hotels. I've never stayed there, but a lot of people say they really like the Marriott Marquis in downtown San Diego. The Marriott Marquis is these iconic mirrored C-shaped buildings. They're located right next to the convention center. I've stayed at the Andaz in the Gaslamp District and also the Hyatt Manchester Grand, which is the big, tall hotel. And so if I wanted to stay downtown and I was getting a good rate, I'd probably stay at the Hyatt Manchester Grand, which is this big one also on the bay, because it has really great views if you get one of the rooms that has a view. Also, the Park Hyatt in Carlsbad, which I mentioned is like 25 miles north of downtown San Diego. It's kind of a great weekend resort stay. They've got big golf course, big swimming pools. There's this lagoon that you can go hiking on. And the Park Hyatt is definitely like a 5-star resort stay. And you can easily spend a whole day kind of hanging around the hotel if you play golf or tennis or those sorts of things. If you don't do any of those sporting activities, then it might be a little boring, a little remote, and then the Gaslamp might be a better party area. Brandon Torres says, Japanese hotel service sounds amazing. It truly is. Japanese hotel service, I think, is unparalleled anywhere in the world. I've never experienced anything quite like it. Clement thought it was funny, and it was quite funny at the time. Brandon Torres says, I see why the service was so good. Yippee asks if I've ever stayed at a Shangri-La hotel. I have not stayed at a Shangri-La hotel. Yippee, have you stayed at a Shangri-La hotel? If so, which one, and what did you think of it? Okay, now we are on to my favorite hotel, number 8, and continuing the trend on hotels in Japan. This next one is the Andaz Hotel in Tokyo. So the Andaz Hotel in Tokyo is in the Toronomon neighborhood, which is a couple miles or a couple kilometers from the Japanese Imperial Palace It's sort of central, but sort of not central. It's not really a big touristy area. It's in more of a business district. But this hotel is really cool because it's at the top of this high rise. The way you get to the hotel, you go in the ground floor, and then you take an elevator up to, 20, 30 floor, or something like, maybe I think it's floor 37 to check in at the lobby, and then you go down a couple floors to actually get to the hotel rooms. But the hotel rooms are kind of a classic Japanese style with a lot of wood paneling, rice paper, but they've made it look very modern. And the rooms are also, by Japanese Tokyo standards, are huge. The breakfast restaurant was decent, but it's not the best breakfast that I've ever had. I think if I stayed there again, I wouldn't pay for the breakfast, and I'd probably eat at the convenience store downstairs. I say that because in Japan they have really good convenience stores, and the food there is pretty good. They also have an amazing spa at the Andaz Tokyo. It's on some, I think, 30-something or 20th floor, that they have this swimming pool that's like this lap swimming pool that it's in the middle of the building, and it looks out on the Imperial Palace and the high-rise of Tokyo. It's really neat to go for a swim and be looking out at the high-rise buildings from the high-rise building level, not from the ground. Also, a few of the videos I've done in Japan, like how to ride the subway and things like that, I shot in that hotel because it was just a really neat background. The tables are made out of natural wood, and they really kind of, it just, it doesn't feel like a typical, I said I like to stay in Marriott, it doesn't feel like a typical boring Marriott business convention hotel. It's really a unique hotel that they've put in this high-rise. Clement asks, will I be doing yellow productions when I'm old? I think as long as people keep watching, I'll keep doing this, so I don't have any plans to quit anytime soon. Yippee says he was just at a Shangri-La hotel in Cebu in the Philippines. Beautiful ground, good service, and the best breakfast buffet he ever had. So clearly, if I go to Cebu in the Philippines, I need to stay at the Shangri-La hotel. So Yippee, I will take a look at that. Generally, Shangri-La hotels, I think, are sort of on the expensive side. What did you find your room rate was there in the Philippines? David M. says, that's my dream, to stay in a Shangri-La hotel, perhaps Vancouver. Jean-Pierre says, what hotel would you recommend in Beijing? I really like watching your travel videos. It really helps my next vacation. Jean-Pierre, I've only stayed at one hotel in Beijing, but I really liked it, and I said Marriott, and so I stayed at the JW Marriott in Beijing. It was a great hotel, convenient to the subway, with a nice modern shopping mall right next to it. One of the things I would recommend to you if you've never been to Beijing before, the JW Marriott offers car pickup service at the airport. And if you book this, it's not that they just wait for you in the arrivals lounge or out front by baggage claim. They have a kind of a deal with the airport where somebody will be standing right at the gate as you get off the plane with your name, and they will walk you from the plane through customs, ultimately to the place where your car is. And so that's just a really nice service. We took a taxi back from the JW Marriott to the Beijing airport, and that's probably the last time I think I'll take a taxi in Beijing to the airport, because they didn't have seat belts or air conditioning or a lot of those things. But the hotel vehicle was very, very nice. Let's see. Jake McShane says the Grand Hyatt in Beijing is fantastic. I've never stayed there, but I believe it, because the Grand Hyatt in Asia are often really, really good. Clement comments that Japan is known for many machines that dispense food and drinks. You're right, Japan is known for that. And if you've not seen my video on cool vending machines of Japan, check that out. It was one of my first videos that got really popular with 300,000 views or something like that. Cool vending machines of Japan. Let's see. SoCal says Shangri-La in Boracay, Philippines is nice. Yippee comments that the Shangri-La that they stayed at in the Philippines was one of the less expensive one, about $375 a night with food, which I think is pretty reasonable for a Shangri-La. And Clement says, you could do a job in the television for travel guide because of your travel guides is nice and helpful. Clement, thank you very much. If you know anybody who works for the Travel Channel, let them know where I am. And Gonzo Lowers says, What is your favorite area to stay at in Tokyo? So I think my two favorite areas to stay in Tokyo are either around Tokyo Station or around Shinjuku Station. Um, so I mentioned the Tokyo Station Hotel was great. There's also a Courtyard Tokyo Station that's like 3 blocks from the Tokyo Station Hotel. My other favorite hotel in Tokyo is the Hotel Century Southern Tower. It's one that I did not link in the description, but the Hotel Century Southern Tower, it is like you go out one of the exits, the Southern Terrace exit of Shinjuku Station, and you walk 50 meters and the hotel's right there. It's this high-rise building. It's nice and new. Also has great views of Tokyo. But those places, Tokyo Station and Shinjuku Station, are really great because those are the two big train stations. You can get anywhere from there. Yippee says that he agrees. And so, Yippee, are you agreeing because like you think those are good areas, Tokyo Station, Shinjuku Station? And I think since you said greetings from Japan, do you have any others that you'd recommend? Richard Narvi says, just watched your Amsterdam City Guide. It was great from '08. You're just getting better. Richard, thank you very much. And when I look back on those videos too, I definitely think I'm getting better as well. So I appreciate that. And Yippee, which part of Japan are you staying in at the moment? Clement says, have you been to Indonesia? Because I will be going to Indonesia in 4 days. I get asked that question a lot too, and I have not been to Indonesia yet. So, Clement, you'll have to let me know how it is. Maybe do a travel guide or two. Okay, I need to stop and quench my thirst with my iced tea from In-N-Out Burger. Yippee says he's at Narita Airport waiting for their plane tomorrow. Very cool. I've stayed at the Hilton at Narita Airport, which I thought was a pretty decent hotel near Narita. And Rock Shay gives a smiley face. All right. On to hotel number 9. My favorite hotel number 9. And by the way, if you're new to this live stream tuning in, these are my top 17 favorite hotels that I've personally stayed in. And in the description, there are links to all of the reviews that I've done on almost all of these hotels. David M. asks, does In-N-Out Burger do sponsorships? No, they don't. I just eat at In-N-Out Burger way too much. And there was a comment that I could be a frequent guest of Marriott. If In-N-Out Burger had a frequent eater club, I think I'd definitely be one of their top customers. Richard Narvi asks, what's your next trip? That is an excellent question, Richard, and we currently do not have a next trip scheduled. Kind of working on that. We're thinking about maybe Vancouver. That's one of the destinations we're thinking about. But sometimes it just depends on price and timing and where we can get a cheap fare too, etc., etc. Japan is obviously always on the books too. We want to go back to Tokyo Disney because we love that so much too. And David M says Vancouver. I think David M likes Vancouver. Clement says, you should do a video about the most review video. Clement, I'm not sure what you mean. What do you want that video to be? Okay, but as you answer that, I will go on to number 9. Number 9 is another Park Hyatt hotel. This is one I stayed at in February of this year. It is the Park Hyatt New York City Hotel. The Park Hyatt New York City Hotel is definitely not one of the cheaper Hyatts. It has a going rate of $750 a night. But if you have Hyatt points, you can redeem them there. Or if you have the Chase Hyatt card, you can apply for that and get 2 free nights at the Park Hyatt New York Hotel. It is a hotel that is 2 blocks from Central Park, right next to the Broadway Theater District. It's just in a classic neighborhood. When you roll up to that hotel, they don't have a doorman. They have someone that has a remote control. They push the button and it opens the door for you. It's another one of those hotels that you go in at the lobby level, you go in at the ground level, take an elevator up to the lobby level, check in at the lobby, and then take your elevator up to go up to your room. But it was a hotel also that pretty much anything I wanted, they would bring to me. One day I was walking in, and it was one of those hotels where, because it's on the smaller side, I think 100 rooms, something like that, maybe 200 rooms. I think the staff there is actually like trained to get to know you. So when I would walk by the front desk, they would say, "Mr. Rainey, welcome back. You know, how was your day? Can I get you anything? Are you thirsty? Do you like wine? If you like, what kind of wine do you like? Do you like red wine? I've got a really good red wine. I'll have it sent up to your room, complimentary, no charge. Mr. Rainey, are you going out? Would you like any restaurant recommendation? Where are you going? I'll give you a recommendation." And so that was just kind of a really neat part about staying at that hotel. And obviously, for $750 a night, you're paying for that in obviously the service, but staying on Hyatt points is a really good deal and also great location, as I mentioned, in New York. SoCal Seth said, I say come to Tucson, but it's way too hot right now. All right, SoCal Seth, maybe in the winter I'll think about Tucson. We did like Scottsdale, and then there's like Phoenix, Scottsdale, and then there's another city as part of that region. I don't think it's Tucson. It's oh gosh, what's it called? I can't remember, but it's right there in that Phoenix metro area that we're thinking about hitting. Sonoma that we're thinking about hitting up as well. Yippee said, "Fancy dancy." Clement says, "What made you do a YouTube channel and when did you start?" Okay, I can do a video or a live stream in the future about why I do this and what my motivations were. That's a good one. Jake McShane said Mesa because he was thinking about Phoenix, and so that was a good help, but it was Sonoma. That's where we're thinking about. All right. Number 10, my favorite hotel, number 10. So where's Scottsdale? Phoenix, Scottsdale, Mesa, Tempe, Glendale, Sonoma. How far is Sonoma from Phoenix? Am I just making that up that it's right next door? I don't know. You guys live in Arizona. I probably, I have a pass. I went to school in California, so my geography is not very good. It's funny to say that as a world traveler. All right, number 10 is another Conrad hotel. This is the Conrad Macau Hotel. So I mentioned Hong Kong earlier. Macau's kind of a neat place for those of you who aren't familiar with Macau. Hong Kong was a former British colony. Macau was a former colony of Portugal. Macau is one of the few places in China that gambling is legal. So Macau is kind of like the Las Vegas of China. And a lot of the casinos that are in Las Vegas are in Macau also. And if any of you like K-pop and you watch Psy, the latest Psy video, New Face, was shot in Macau. And it was shot at the Venetian Macau, which is right across the street from the Conrad Macau. Clement comments, there's ferry service from Hong Kong to Macau. There sure is, and that was actually how we got to Macau, was we took the ferry. And so the experience at the Conrad begins as you get off the ferry into Macau. They also have people that stand next to the ferry and have a sign that says Conrad. So you get off the ferry, you find the person with the sign that says Conrad, you tell them your name, and they have this beautiful luxury bus that they take you to that then takes you right to the Conrad Hotel. So you don't have to get a taxi or figure out transportation. The Conrad Macau shares the property with 3 other hotels. So it has a common casino and 3 towers. The Conrad is half of one tower. It's like a Holiday Inn and a Sheraton share the other towers. But the Conrad is one too, where you get there, they greet you by name, they take you up to their room, and as a Hilton Gold member, we were upgraded to a room that had 2,000 square feet. I mean, it is one of the biggest rooms I've ever had in a hotel. Huge living room, huge bedroom, huge bathroom. It had a separate television room, and it was amazing. So this is, on the. It was just really. It was one of those you open the door and you're like, did they put me in the wrong room? This can't be the room that I've got for $200 a night as a Hilton Gold member, not even a diamond, and it was amazing. And I think Macau gets all of their business in the weekends from all of the really professional Chinese gamblers that come to Macau, and so if you go there on a weekday, I think you can score really good upgrades. That was everything on Flyer Talk and TripAdvisor. A lot of people had similar experiences. So that was, and the breakfast was pretty good too. So you get breakfast in one of the restaurants that's in the casino, and it was a really good breakfast buffet spread. I think going back to my Phoenix conversation, now I think I'm thinking Tucson. I think so. When you said come to Tucson, I think that's probably where I was actually thinking. Though I think the heat wave here in Southern California must be getting to my brain. That and like 45 minutes into talking, I start to really stop thinking. Um, Rich says Macau and Hong Kong were made for each other, super convenient to transit. You're right, they are super convenient and made for each other, and Macau has really great food too. All right. Number 11. Number 11, Clement from Singapore on the live stream. This next one is Singapore too. This is the Marriott in Singapore. And the Marriott in Singapore is located on Orchard Road. Orchard Road is Singapore's main shopping street. Like all the shopping malls, all the high-end stores are on Orchard Road. And the Marriott Singapore is located across the street from Ion Orchard, which is, I'd say, one of Singapore's newest, probably best and biggest shopping centers. The Marriott Singapore is also really neat because it doesn't look like a standard boxy business hotel. It has like about 4 stories that has a swimming pool on the rooftop, and then the rest of the hotel is kind of like an octagon shape that then, floor 20 or 30, wherever the top of it has this like green pagoda roof that's on the top of it. And it just, earlier, you heard me say that I like staying in hotels that don't look like standard Marriotts, even though I stay in Marriotts all the time, because standard Marriotts look kind of boring. And if you watch my Ventura Beach Marriott review that'll be coming out on Wednesday, you'll see that it looks like a standard, boring business Marriott. But the Singapore Marriott, really neat. Neat design. The rooftop swimming pool was really nice because Singapore gets really hot. So it was a great Singapore that you could look down on Orchard Road, a lot of festivities, super convenient. And it had a really good breakfast restaurant that you could also sit and eat your breakfast looking out of the sidewalk on Orchard Road, which is, if you've been to Las Vegas, it's kind of like going to the Las Vegas Strip. So that was my 11th favorite hotel. Ta Kim Fu says they're going to Singapore in July. Excellent. I hope you like it. David M. asks about Fairmont properties. Yeah, I have not yet broken into the Fairmont properties. At the Park Hyatt Washington, D.C., I know there was a Fairmont right across from it. And then also I know on Maui, when I stayed at the Andaz, there was a Fairmont property that I went to in Wailea that also looked really nice. So, David, have you stayed at any Fairmont properties? I'm curious what you think. But the ones I've just been to the buildings, things like that, they look nice. I've never stayed in them. Clement says it's quite windy in Singapore now, which might make now a good time to come to Singapore. I should get on a plane here. All right, my favorite hotel, number 12. I was talking about Phoenix. This is the Hyatt Regency Scottsdale, which is in Phoenix, Arizona. So Phoenix, Arizona, as SoCal Seth said, can be really hot in the summer. We went there last year in May, and it was like just on the borderline of, spring to summer. I think it was pretty hot when we went there, but we were able to stay at this hotel for about $200 a night. It was over one of the summer, like the holiday weekend that's there at the end of May, beginning of June. They had a lot of festivities at the hotel. They had like a guacamole making thing. You could like make guacamole with the head chef. And actually the way I found out about the Andaz in Maui was I asked the head chef at the Hyatt Regency Scottsdale, I said, hey, what's your favorite Hyatt hotel? Because apparently, particularly in Scottsdale, super seasonal. So a lot of the staff, they're there in Scottsdale when it's busy, but then when it's not busy, they rotate to other Hyatts. And the head chef at the Hyatt Regency Scottsdale said that his favorite Hyatt for food was the Andaz in Maui. And so for those of you planning to go to Maui at the Andaz, you will enjoy the food, particularly when another head chef at a Hyatt says they go there. The Hyatt Regency Scottsdale also has one of the most amazing swimming pool complexes that I've been to at any hotel anywhere. It is like acres and acres and acres of swimming pools, pool after pool after pool. They're also situated on this golf course, and they have this like river that runs along the golf course, and they have gondolas that you can take along the golf course. They also have the best spa that I've been to at a hotel. And I'm not really a spa person, but as a Hyatt Diamond member, they gave you free access to the spa, hot tubs, salt baths, steam baths. You could relax. It was totally a cool, relaxing spa. Clement asks, are you scared when you are flying? Because I am, and can you give a tip on how you realized, I guess not to be nervous, because he's going in 4 days. How to make the nervous feeling go away. I'm not really nervous when I fly anymore because I have flown so much that I kind of look at airplanes as like a bus that just happens to go in the sky. I mean, almost everything is like automated on a plane, and you know, they say that plane travel is actually one of the safest ways to fly, assuming that you're flying on a first world airline and not Kazakhstan Airlines. I think everything's going to be okay. You know, there's turbulence, there's bumpiness, but the plane pretty much lands and takes off itself. I mean, the pilots don't really do a whole lot. And there's a whole lot of infrastructure to make sure that you're safe and safe to land. And so, Clement, I would just say, don't worry about it, and know that there's lots of people like me that get on a plane and get off a plane. There's millions of people that gets on planes over the world every day, and they're totally just fine. David M. comments that airplanes are safer than your drive to the airport, which I think is probably true. And David M. also comments about Fairmont, saying it's a Canadian company, great service comparable to a Mandarin Oriental, more boutique-like. I will definitely have to check it out. Sounds like my style. And SoCal Seth, talking about Arizona, said that May to September is usually the hot months in Arizona, end of February to April, end of September, November are nice. Well, I'll think of those as I go there next time. All right, in the Hyatt Regency Scottsdale, I do not have a link to that in the description below. I'm still working on editing that review. I should really get on it since I stayed there 1 year and 1 month ago. Yeah, but I got so many videos to edit for all of you, and only 1 or 2 I publish a week, so there's a bit of a backlog. All right. Lucky number 13, and I guess this is funny since I said lucky because this one is the JW Marriott Las Vegas Hotel. The JW Marriott Las Vegas Hotel is the hotel that I have gotten the most amazing upgraded suite ever. I mentioned that at the Macau I got an amazing upgraded suite. At the JW Marriott, I got a hotel room that was bigger than our house. I mean, it was thousands of square feet, huge bedrooms, huge living room, huge balconies, 8-person dining room table, bar area. Did I mention like 3 bathrooms? I mean, it was truly amazing. So I don't know that everybody gets that upgrade, but because I got that upgrade, that was pretty nice. And the JW Marriott, well, I'll say, when I go to Las Vegas, I actually don't particularly like to stay in the hotels that are right on the Strip. I find that the big casino hotels are, like, it's just too far to walk from your car to the room. So I like hotels that are, smaller, you can park, you can get up there, and so the JW Marriott also, free breakfast, it's a platinum member, just a nice hotel, and not as big of a haze as a lot of the big casino hotels on the Strip. Brandon Torres comments, that's an upgrade. It was, and so you could check out the review. That was one of my early reviews. I think I was there in 2009, 2010. It's been a while, and I was not alone. I was with my girlfriend at the time at JW Marriott, someplace special, because that was actually where I proposed to OC Girl. So then she became my fiance. SoCal Seth says he really likes the JW Marriott in Vegas. Kind of like being off the Strip, especially on weekends. I agree, slightly quieter, more relaxed. JW Marriott Las Vegas also has like a neat lake that's in the middle of it too. So that's pretty cool. RVD NSX says you're right. The walk from the MGM Grand parking lot to their room takes 15 minutes. And it sure does. At some of these casino hotels, the walk is like truly incredible. All right, we're coming near the end to number 14. Number 14, this was one put on the list by OC Girl. When I asked her which ones I forgot, she said, you forgot the Shelbourne Dublin that we stayed in. So when we went to Dublin, Ireland, we stayed at this hotel called the Renaissance Shelbourne Dublin. It's located in central Dublin, across from one of the main parks in Dublin. It's just in this cool, white, historic-looking building. And the thing I want to say about the Shelbourne Dublin is if you like oatmeal, they had the best oatmeal that I've ever had. It had, the oatmeal had like a lavender honey in it, and I was in love with the oatmeal. Also, as like a platinum member, they give you like free drink tickets that you could redeem for Irish whiskey or Guinness or things like that. I'm not a really big drinker, but it's nice being in Ireland to try those things out and be able to do them for free at the hotel. So super iconic hotel. And OC Girl's checking in there saying that she was wondering about that. Couldn't remember whether I proposed in Vegas or Palm Springs. So it's in Vegas. And OC Girl, if you want to remember that, you can watch the review in the description too. And if you're wondering if we're a couple who talk to each other, via messages on YouTube, I mean, that's how we roll, it's like high tech, right? All right, so number 15 is the Sherwood Hotel in Taipei, Taiwan. The Sherwood Hotel in Taipei, Taiwan is located kind of in central Taipei, by the Raohe night market. And this hotel is a hotel that a lot of foreign dignitaries, celebrities, things like that go to Taipei stay at. When you get to this hotel from the outside, it does not look like anything spectacular, but you walk in the front door and they've got people playing like a cello and a violin, and all the staff is like super dressed up, and the rooms are really nice, and the breakfast, although it's in the basement, is also one of the best breakfasts I've had. Great combination of Western and Asian, great pot stickers, great hargao, great green onion pancakes. They also have really excellent smoothies. For those of you who aren't really that familiar with Taiwan, Taiwan is often known as the island of fruit, so they have delicious fruit. Dragon fruit is one of my favorites, and Clement, OC Girl, so there's a question from Mom Clement, where is OC Girl? She is, I don't know, her message, at least on my screen, was right there where she said it. So, the other thing that I will say is about the Sherwood Taipei, and one of the neatest things about it was I stayed there on my birthday. And staying there on my birthday, I guess when they scanned my passport or something like that, they must have lifted my birthday. And when I got to the hotel that night, not the day I checked in, but it was like the second or third day, I got back to my room, and on the desk in my room, there was a heart-shaped birthday cake that said "Happy Birthday, Chris." And it was a cheesecake with cherries. It was a really delicious cheesecake. And it's just like a super nice touch. Probably would have been like a $20 cheesecake if you were to buy it for the hotel just to like deliver that unannounced to your room with a handwritten card that said "Happy Birthday." So that was pretty cool. Clement, my birthday is in December. And David M. asks, any advice if you're restricted to government per diem or corporate code for staying in nice hotels? Yeah, I think the American chain hotels are some great places to stay. Marriott, in particular, I think has really good corporate rates. Hyatt does too, depending upon what you're affiliated with. If you're affiliated with like IBM or something like that, Hyatt always has really great. I certainly know IBM corporate rates. When I stay with Marriott's, I always check the AAA rates because I find the AAA rates can often be pretty good, and they rarely question your AAA ID. Though I am a AAA member, I've used the AAA rate 20 or 30 times, and the first time I was asked for my AAA card was in Switzerland at hotel number 17 that I'm going to talk about, which is coming up here in just a moment. And by the way, OC Girl, where is she? She said she's watching from her cell phone. And Richard Narvi says OC Girl is great and added some really cool emoticons. So if you're not watching this live, you probably can't see the emoticons because they disappear for the archive. But there's a flower. There's like 5 flowers and a nice leaf. Number 16, second to last one. And these last 2 are ones I do not have reviews yet, but they'll be coming soon, so keep on the lookout for these. Number 16 is the Sainoniwa Hotel in Kanazawa. This is another hotel in Japan, in the city of Kanazawa. It is a hotel that... best way to describe it. Like a modern hotel, maybe kind of like when I described the Andaz in Tokyo, a modern hotel that has like tons of historic Japanese influence. Like they have all these really neat Japanese gardens as you go through, like the Zen gardens that have like rocks that they rake and a rock, like a big rock and small rocks and these plants, and they have a hot spring that's part of the hotel. In the room, you'll have your area with your beds. This was not one with a tatami mat. It had beds, but it also had the separate traditional Japanese seating area by the window, and it had the best breakfast buffet we've ever had in Japan. And that breakfast buffet, you could eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner there. I mean, they aren't open for lunch and dinner. They're open for just breakfast, but they had like great curries. They had like, great fish and seafood and cooked items, and they even had ice cream for breakfast, so that's great. Stay on the lookout for that review. Gonzo Lovers said, have you ever used Japan I Can services? I'm not sure what you mean by services. I have used Japan I Can to book hotel rooms in Japan. Sometimes the rates there are pretty good. Billy Wong asks, will you be coming to Australia? I hope to come to Australia sometime. I don't know when. If I do come to Australia, what cities do you recommend I check out? Because it is someplace I want to go to someday over the rainbow. Dave V says, where would the Grand Wailea fall, if anywhere on your list, if you had to fit it in? Dave, I haven't stayed in the rooms at the Grand Wailea. I've walked through it. I've stayed in the Andaz. The Grand Wailea, again, because I really haven't stayed at the rooms and I haven't eaten the breakfast, it's hard for me to comment specifically, because it is close to the Andaz Maui and it's in front of that Wailea beach, and the Wailea beach is pretty nice. It would probably be in my list somewhere, but probably closer to the bottom of the list, just because the Grand Wailea, at least walking around the property, looked kind of tired. Like, it looked like it could really use a bit of tender loving care. Yeah, Dave says it's dated. And I considered staying there, but for the pretty much similar prices whenever we went, the Andaz Maui had rooms and prices were similar. As a Hyatt Diamond, we'd get free breakfast at the Andaz, and the service, I think, just was better there, at least from everything I've read. SoCalSess commented and said, ice cream for breakfast, I like to party. It was a party in my mouth every morning, I have to say. We are talking. Yeah, there were actually, on that trip, there were 2 hotels that we stayed at that had ice cream for breakfast. When we stayed in Nagano, where there was the Olympics, there's the Hotel Metropolitan in Nagano. They had ice cream for breakfast too. So it was like super funny to have ice cream for breakfast one day and ice cream for breakfast another day. But yes, I did have ice cream for breakfast whenever it's available, because you just kind of have to. Billy Wong says, Melbourne for sure if I go to Australia. Amazing city. All right, I will put that on my list. And Billy, if I go to Melbourne, what's the number one thing you think I should eat in Melbourne? Because I really like food. Second to last, number 16. No, I just did number 16. Ha! Last one, number 17. I'm glad I have these cards and don't put them on top of each other. Number 17 is a hotel we stayed at in our last trip to Switzerland. It's the Renaissance in Lucerne. Lucerne is a city that's about a half-hour train ride from Zurich. And this Renaissance hotel was really neat because it was also in a historic building. They said the building has been there for over 100 years. It's been a hotel for over 100 years, but they recently renovated the entire hotel a couple years ago when they joined the Marriott chain. It's cool. You go in the rooms, and big windows, big ceilings. It had like, how do I describe this? The whole wall behind the bed had like this canvas, like painting on it. The breakfast was hilarious because the breakfast was in a restaurant that the, I guess, hotel owns, or is on the ground floor of the hotel, called the Pacifico Restaurant, which is a Mexican restaurant. So for those of you who don't know, I live in Southern California. Southern California is right next to Mexico. Southern California, I think, has the best Mexican food in all of the U.S. I'm sure there's some people from Texas that would argue that Tex-Mex is better, and so it was just hilarious to have breakfast in a Mexican restaurant in Switzerland. But cool hotel, great service. Also the kind of place that when you check in, the staff says like, hey, are you new to Switzerland? Have you been to Lucerne before? Would you like a map? Can I show you where to go? They pulled out a map. They drew all these things like, hey, you should go here. You should check this out. You should walk here. Take a look at this. On the front desk, they always had Swiss chocolates. So they had this bowl of Swiss chocolates. You go by, pick up some chocolates anytime. They had a lounge that was not just for Gold and Platinum members, but that anybody could go in that lounge to get coffee 24/7, which was nice. And the final thing, what was I say? What was the final thing? Oh, right. The bath products, the toiletry products are Tokyo Milk Bath and Shampoo, which is a pretty expensive soap brand. Nice soaps, nice smelling. And I like that too. All right, so that brings us to the end. If anybody has any more questions, speak now or forever hold your peace. And by forever hold your peace, I mean hold your peace to the next live stream. The next live stream is going to be in 2 weeks on July 3rd, 2017. And that live stream, it's going to be Topher is really going to be my active co-host on that one. And I'm going to be talking about travel lingo and frequent flyer lingo. There's often a lot of terms in the travel industry like direct flights versus non-stop flights. I'll be talking about what the differences between those are. We'll be talking about what's a mileage run and lots of other cool travel things. And then my next one after July 3rd will be July 10th, and I'll still be doing them at this usual time, which is the Mondays, 8 p.m. Los Angeles time. Okay, looking at the comments and the final questions. Richard Narvi says I should watch the channel Flying the Nest, great travel channel on YouTube. Richard, I'll check that out. Dave V says looks really fancy. Clement says it's the last live stream he'll be watching until his holiday. Thank you for doing the live stream and waiting for the video about Topher. Clement, sorry you won't be able to join that one live, but definitely look forward to your comment on the archive and enjoy school. David M, thanks. Dave V, thanks. Gonzo Lower says, thank you for your Japan guides. I found them to be very useful. Thanks for watching them. I really appreciate that. I got a ton of Japan backlog. I'll kind of try to intersperse those into, I've got one more video coming out on New York, and then I'll be starting my Switzerland videos. Brandon says, all the hotels sounds great. Yeah, and again, reminder, links in the description below for all 17 reviews. And I also put them easily in one playlist, so you can just sort through those in case you have like all afternoon and you want to like binge watch hotel reviews. Popat Lal says, thinking about Oahu with 1-year-old debating the Hilton Hawaiian Village and the Hyatt Regency. I have stayed at the Hilton Hawaiian Village. I've not stayed at the Hyatt Regency. The Hilton Hawaiian Village, I think, is for a 1-year-old probably your better option. And I say that just because the Hilton Hawaiian Village kind of has it's a festive atmosphere. There's a lot of swimming pools. It kind of almost has a little bit of amusement park feel to it. A lot of there's like 40 restaurants on the property, and so I think that would be a cool place probably to stay with the kid. The Hyatt Regency would probably be a little bit more quieter and relaxed than the Hilton Hawaiian Village, so think about, I think, what you like better. But Popat, I do have a set of reviews on the Hilton Hawaiian Village. If you take a look at my channel and go to playlists, you'll find a playlist. I have like 5 videos just on the Hilton Hawaiian Village. Brandon Torres says Topher stream before the 4th. Yes, one day before July 4th. That'll be the Topher stream. Jake McShane says, any hotels that just barely missed the top 17 that are worth an honorable mention? Wow. Now you have to get my brain juices going. I'm going to have to reserve comment on that one. And think about it for the July 3rd live stream. If I think of any more that deserve an honorable mention, I will mention it then. Billy Wong, because I asked about Melbourne, says to eat, I should go to the Centre Place Cafes. It's the best landway cafes in Melbourne. They serve all-day brekkie. I've heard Australian breakfasts are legendary, so I will check out the Centre Place Cafes. Clement said, why are you not doing the live stream next week? And because I've got something else to do on Monday night, so that's why I won't be doing the live stream. SoCal Seth says, thanks, buddy. Good times. Clement, good night. Goodbye. Papatlal, thank you. He'll check out the playlist. Excellent. David M says, you could do best business hotels. Not all Hiltons are the same. That's true. So, hey, maybe I'll have another one of these reviews that talk about just business hotels, because a lot of these weren't business hotels. So, all right, with that, over and out. Thanks for watching. Goodbye. Keep on traveling. I'll see all of you on July 3rd. Peace.